Hello, ladies. Hi, Nicole. Nice to see you again. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Jess. Jess, hello from all around the other side of the world. Finally, the times are aligning and she can be here. Can we celebrate it for a moment? Because Jess has been in the background and she's been just working with me, and now she's finally on the call, and I'm so excited to see you. This is so awesome.
So
Let you
I'm
know.
still about half asleep, but we're here.
5 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Can we applaud you for waking up that early to be here? That is amazing. I hope you're gonna have more energy after this call and be like, now I'm awake. That's the purpose. That's the goal. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Gavi. Nice to see you ladies as well. I want to start the call with a question, which is, I was thinking, what question could I ask you that would be really, really nice to start the session with? And I want to ask you, instead of sharing what you're grateful for today, I would love for you to ask yourself and to share in the chat, if you're willing to, what is something in your life right now that is exciting you? Is there something that you're looking forward to? Is there something you're working on? So I'm going to ask the question again. What is something in your life right now that is really exciting you? And if you can think of something, I would love to know what that is. Lisa, I think you're sick, right? Poor you, sending you lots of healing energy all the way to Germany. You got this. I'm really excited what you're going to come up with. It's taking some time right here. Super excited by all this space I now have after leaving my job and how much it was draining me. I'm starting to tap into a playfulness and free energy that I feel like I've just seen glimpses of for the last 2 years. I love that. Yes, this is so exciting. Excited for my upcoming holiday in 2 weeks to have time for just my husband and me. I love that. Where are you guys going? I want to know if you want to share. I just finished reading the Celestine Prophecy, and I'm excited about incorporating the lessons I learned. I love that. Amazing. Italy. Ooh. Can you believe I've never been to Italy? I've been to Sicily. I've never been to Italy. I've been to all of the other places here in Europe. Never to, this is Spain a million times, never to Italy. So weird. Excited about spending New Year's Eve with my sister in a ski cottage in North Sweden. I love that. Oh my God, it's only 2.5 months left. I was like, already New Year's? Soon. This is crazy. People are making plans already. Wow. Super excited. My cousin joined the community. Super excited with some of my project I have in the works. Yes, Stephanie's cousin joined Transform, which is really, really exciting. So you guys look alike a little bit. So like I can see the beauty runs in the family. So I'm really excited that she's here. She's awesome. And I'm excited for you ladies to get to know her too. Amazing, ladies. So before we get into this session, I see Lisa, so I'm going to read this out in a second. I want to announce one really exciting thing. Some of you might have already seen, I have invited all of you to the Dream Life Festival. I'm like, Dream Life was such a great program. I loved it so much. It was so powerful. And I was thinking, how can we bring this to even more people? Because the stuff that we talked about is really, really important. And so I have decided to create a 3-day festival. I know you don't usually use the word festival in the online space, but I was like, this is different, let's do it. So the festival will be taking place next week, Thursday, Friday, and then the following Monday. So our transform call that is usually on Monday will be taking place on Tuesday during this week. But this is not even the most exciting thing, because on top of the Dream Life Festival, there will also be a VIP upgrade. Now, as you're my clients, all of you are going to be getting access to this VIP upgrade. And the idea of the VIP upgrade is that we're all going to be on Telegram. And so the teachings that are happening in the Dream Life Festival we're going to be going more in depth in the VIP upgrade. And so there's going to be more trainings as we're going along with the content. So the Dream Life Festival is free, whereas the VIP upgrade is usually a paid experience. You will have access to this, and it's not everything yet. What I also want you to do is I want you to bring a friend to this Telegram experience. Okay, so whichever friend or family member, whatever that might be, you're thinking of right now is probably the perfect person. A woman, please. Please keep it, because we want to keep it still of a safe space. And obviously, it's a very female energy centered coaching business, so it wouldn't work that much. But yes, if you do have someone in mind, please invite them to this VIP upgrade as well. They don't have to pay for it, because I just want to give access to this program, I want to call it, to as many women as possible. Okay, so it's going to be a wonderful week, something like that, of lots and lots of great teachings and things that are going to transform everyone's life. And that is the idea of that. So I hope you're as excited as I am, because I really am. It came through at a perfect time, and so it's going to be an awesome experience. Yay, Jazz. I'm glad you're excited. Let me read out what Lisa just said. Coming together with this group of beautiful women excites me every week. Love that. Also excited for some small but beautiful things coming up, like visiting my uncle who lives a bit further away with my mom, and a live true crime event I'm attending at the end of the month. I love that. That sounds like my thing. I hope you enjoyed it. Amazing, ladies. So as we're getting started today, I want to share a couple of thoughts as well. And today's session is going to be about self-reflection, and I'm going to be incorporating some new tools for you that you can utilize literally at any point in your life. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about something that I've noticed as a pattern for myself, but also I've noticed as a pattern generally in the coaching space. And this is something that is a little bit of a longer conversation, but I want to bring it into the space anyways, because I think it's really, really important, especially because so many of you who are here with me have been with me for a while, have known me for a while, and you definitely do have that mindset of what coaching is and what self-development and growth is. But what I've seen recently a lot is, not recently, just generally when it comes to self-development and mindset work and healing, is that a lot of people oftentimes look for a quick fix. They're like, oh, I want to get the result right away. I'm going to do like a 3-day something. And I hope that at the end of that, I'm like a complete new person and I have $1 million in my bank account, right? As an example. Now, the thing is that this type of work will take time. This is not about you chasing a result. This is about you becoming a better you. This is not about you becoming someone that you know. It's about you finding back to yourself again and rediscovering who you truly are, the parts of yourself that maybe you've hid from the world or from other people. This is really where this work is not about, oh, I have a good day, I don't need to tune into the coaching today because I'm already doing well. This is about, because you're doing well, you're showing up nevertheless. Because you're feeling great, you're showing up because this is for you. It's not for anyone else. It's not for the result. The result is a byproduct of who you are being. Always remember that. So many people see the other way around. They're like, I want this result so much. They're grabbing onto it. They're gripping onto it. They're like, I want $1 million in my bank account as an example. But who are you to make the $1 million, happen? It's not the $1 million. It's who you are as you're growing to become this person. And when you see it that way, if the end result doesn't happen tomorrow, you're fine, because you know this is about you. It's not about having to have achieved this goal in order for you to be happy or fulfilled. It's you being happy and fulfilled right now because you're finding back to yourself. right? So this is my reminder for you. When you're having a good day, tune into this community, tune into the content, re-listen to your call, re-listen to your mindset hack. Last week, I shared two short trainings from Bob Proctor on Discord, a 333 story and decision. I read out literally what he teaches on that. This is an additional tool for you to look into. You have so much support here. Don't miss it. And this is not about listening to this once and being like, now I'm fine, I understand. Probably the information is going to land the best after you listen to it a 10th time or 20th time. The Bob Proctor program, I see Stephanie's comment here. I've been doing this program for the last 2 to 3 years. The text I read out to you, I read 1,000,000 times. And I will still keep reading them 1,000,000 times. Because I also forget. I was literally just saying to Amanda this morning, I'm like, let's redo the program together. Because the things are like, you need that reminder. Like as human beings, it doesn't happen that we read one thing once. Also, why is this a little bit hard in a world where we get so much negativity and we're seeing so many bad things, and people don't think that way oftentimes. It's like we have to do even double the work to not let someone else's mindset affect us, right? And that's also where you have to ask yourself, when are you stopping the work when it's not working? Do you have moments where you're like, oh, I've been to like 2 calls and I still feel like shit? Can you still show up even if you're having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month? Because this is not about I'm doing this once, I'm doing the tapping once and I'm healed. No, it's not about doing the inner child alchemy once and I'm healed. It's about doing it whenever you need to, if you feel good or not. Okay, so that's my reminder to you, because I know how I see, like, the pattern is universal. I see it with not only with myself, but with people, because we live in a fast-paced world where it's like, oh, it's the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. That's why I have long-term mentors. I work with people for a very long time because I don't want to keep getting new input. I rather work with one person. I have 2 people right now, but they're doing very different things. But I've been with them for a very, very long time because I don't need new stuff. I need the same stuff over and over again and see it from different angles every time. Okay? Needed this guidance so much today. I got rid of my clothes last week, wondering why the heck hasn't it come back? Bob Proctor said it would return. I love the idea. The new clothing will find me. Are we connected, Stephanie? I was like literally doing the same thing with my clothes. Like not only the Bob Proctor, but like literally like looking at my closet and taking out all of the clothes. I love this. Energetic alignment is a real thing if you're like on the same vibration. So loving this already. Needed that reminder. Thank you. You're so welcome. And I'm so glad it resonated because it's so easy to get lost in doing more and needing to find more tools, but it's not that. It's like, can you master what you already know? And most importantly, can you master yourself? Because when you master yourself, when you master your mind, everything else is going to happen because it's a byproduct of who you are, right? Amazing. So let's start. I feel like it's a good start into doing a little reconnection meditation. Okay, I want you to, on that, reconnect with yourself and your heart. So when you're ready, I want you to close your eyes. And I just want you to start taking slow, deep breaths. And with each inhale, imagine drawing energy from the earth beneath you, anchoring yourself. Feel your body supported by the ground. You are safe, present, and connected to this moment. Gently bring your attention to the center of your chest, your heart space. Place one or both of your hands over your heart, feeling its warmth, its rhythm, its life. Allow yourself to simply notice any sensations, emotions, or thoughts that arise without judgment. With each inhale, imagine soft, healing energy filling your heart. Breathe in love, acceptance, and compassion for yourself. And with each exhale, release any tension, stress, or heaviness. Breathe in a sense of self-love. And breathe out anything that doesn't serve you. Let your breath be your guide, bringing you deeper into your connection with your heart. Now begin to imagine a soft, radiant light glowing within your heart. This light is your essence, your true self. See it expand with every breath, growing brighter and warmer. Let it fill your chest, spreading through your body. Feel this light touching every part of you, your arms, legs, fingers, toes, and the space behind your eyes. As this light expands, it reminds you of the deep connection you have with yourself. This is the part of you that is always whole, always loved, always worthy. Let this light remind you of who you truly are. Slowly begin to bring your awareness back to the present moment. Take a few more deep breaths, feeling your body anchored to the earth. And when you're ready, open your eyes. All right, so the purpose of what we will be doing today is connected to everything that we've already done. The idea is that oftentimes we might find ourselves being very busy, having lots of things to do, and being very focused on the doing and all of the small things that we're doing that we're losing sight of what is actually our bigger vision here. Why are we actually here? Why is this important? Okay. And so what we will do is, anyone familiar with PERMA, the concept of PERMA? Has anyone ever heard this? No. Okay. So this is, as you see, it has, a letter each pretty much word. And this is useful for you to kind of look into, where am I at with my growth? Where am I at with my happiness? Where am I at in my life? And where do I want to maybe go deeper into? And what do I want to reflect more on? Where do I want to improve? Where do I want to create more space to be able to live this or experience this? Okay. And so I find it's really important that we have a couple of things available to us. There's also the Wheel of Life, for example, that you will find in the workbook. But the Wheel of Life is very, it's great. It's a great tool and I love it, but it doesn't go into depth as, for example, this does. And so you can also utilize both at the same time, for example. So this is not a black and white, I can only use this and nothing more. This is for you to build the awareness of, what of these 5 parts do I want to look more into or go more into depth with, okay? So the first part of PERMA is positive emotions. So I know we don't usually like to use the word positive and negative emotions, but for the sake of this, we know a positive emotions is usually something that brings us happiness, joy, hope, or gratitude. Right? And so we will go into each one of those, and you will have some time to reflect, to also share your answers, and we will be able to digest it together and work through it together as you're finding out what is coming up for you. Okay, because I want you to also have that support as you're maybe realizing, oh, I actually do need help with this part of my life and I'm not sure why I'm actually stuck here, as an example. The second one is engagement. So engagement is where you are in flow and you're fully absorbed in a task. So that could be if it's just work, or if it's you doing a dance, it can just be you playing with your puppy, whatever that might be, but where you like in flow and you just feel like you are engaged and you feel like you're absolutely in the present moment. So I think another way of saying this also is, are you truly in the present moment when you're doing it? Right? Or do you feel like your mind is wandering into a million different directions and you are actually not engaged fully in the task that you're doing? The other part is relationships. So building and maintaining positive and meaningful connections, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. Meaning, serving something bigger than ourselves. And this doesn't have to be that you have to create your own foundation tomorrow and, help all of the, kids from Africa. That's not at all what it means. It can mean that you are a mom, and that's your meaning that you carry in with your life, right? It can mean, like me, I have a puppy right now, right? So it's like, that is definitely something that is bigger than myself at this moment, right? Or it can also mean a vision that you have in your life. Whatever that might be for you, it can look very different. So it doesn't have to be, whatever sometimes we, I think, associate with that. Okay. And then we have accomplishment, achieving goals and a sense of mastery. So it's all going to be clear when we break it down. So let's go to the first one, which is positive emotions. Here, what I would love for you to do, and of course also share in the chat, if you already feel like you know how you want to rate it from 1 to 10 in terms of how well you do with this one. This is also not the way that I want to also say to not rate yourself, or how you should not rate yourself is, oh, I feel sad a lot more than I'm happy, so that means my positive emotions are not as existent. It's not about that. It's, are you allowing yourself to, for example, do activities, and this is the first question, that make you happy, hopeful, or grateful? So yes, you can still be sad because you're a human being. You can still be angry. You can still be all of those things, but you also are you also creating time to do the activities that make you feel this way. The follow-up question here would be, how often do you allow yourself to experience positive emotions? Are there barriers to feeling joy or contentment? So maybe you have a mental barrier to actually do the very thing that makes you happy, right? Or there is another barrier, time barrier maybe, or energy barrier that you feel like, I'm not allowing myself to feel the joy. So as you're reflecting, you're more than welcome to also share in the chat, and of course, give it a rating from 1 to 10, 10 being high, 1 being low, in terms of how you would rate it, but also how you would answer those questions. And if you feel like you need help with that specific one, I want to open up the space for you to be able to share as well. Okay, is that clear? Yeah, okay, great. Would anyone like to share in the chat or unmute? I do feel happy and grateful at my job most of the time. I feel happy when I get to spend time with my boyfriend, grateful when I feel the support of my friends. But I know we also talked about how this does not come natural to me. I have to be super aware to detect those emotions. I would rate it a 6 maybe. We talked about this before on our one-on-one chat. And this is also where I asked you if you're noticing any patterns maybe. Oftentimes, I know you have so many things going on, and it's also have we seen it mirrored back to us in our lives? Have we seen it? Because children feel like, even if, and this is like something that, like, as a child you might look at your parents and you're like, yeah, they're happy, and then you're growing up and you're like 10 years older and you're like 15 and you're like, they're actually not that happy that I thought, my children are. So children like take that on. And so it's also like, if you've seen, also like, is the happiness and the gratitude connected to something needing to happen so you can be grateful and happy for that? Or would you also be okay if like a couple of those things would be taken away from you? Would you still be happy and grateful? Like, is it always tied to something? Because if it's tied to something, then you're dependent on the very thing to happen so you can be happy and grateful. So how do you feel just with yourself if you were to spend a whole day with yourself and not having your boyfriend, your friends, your job? Do you feel the same happiness and gratitude, for example, if those things would be taken away from you? Does it make sense? So that would be a way to reflect that as well. Has it ever been mirrored back to me, and is it dependent on something so I can feel this? I would rate myself a 6 as well, because I'm allowing a lot more positive energy in my life. I find happiness in small things, and overall, I don't fall into negative thinking as much as I know I used to. But I know there's a lot of room for improvement, and there are still so many things that I would like to go differently sometimes. And I know there's so much more happiness I could achieve. I love this. And Jeanette, I also just saw your message that you sent through, and something that I wanted to reply, but I can say this right here because I feel like it is all connected, is kind of like, because you were saying, last week wasn't as you planned it to be, and it was a lot, and this week also doesn't look that great. Oftentimes we're not realizing how our subconscious beliefs and patterns are actually creating our reality. So if you've been expecting for things to look a certain way, you will create it subconsciously. And I know it will not always make sense because it looks like the external world is changing, but what is inside of us is a reflection of what happens outside of us. Like Bob Proctor and those teachings, that like if you haven't seen the teaching on decision, and if you haven't seen the teaching on 333, I really recommend it. I'm going to probably do another training on one of his chapters as well here, because he speaks about how your attitude towards things will change what happens outside of you. So oftentimes we don't realize how it's subconsciously creating a certain pattern because you've been in it for so long. That is not your fault. You've lived that life for so long. So I wonder if you were to start working on those beliefs of like breaking that pattern, and even though outside of you it might still be happening, you're saying the opposite to you. You're working on creating the opposite beliefs of that. Let me know if that makes sense, please. Yeah, okay, great. Literally just wrote that. Perfect. And then we can go more into depth as well in the chat if you like to. I mean, in like Discord. I would say 7 to 8 for positive emotions. That is great. Cooking, listening to music and dancing, art, walking my dog, working, talking with my husband, being intimate, doing yoga, connection with friends, berries, stress getting in my head. I allow myself to feel positive emotions daily, and I'm getting better at not forcing positive emotions, which was a pattern I'm letting go of. I love this. Amazing. I even started enjoying cleaning because I like the result of a tidy house. I rephrase it as a pleasant activity rather than a duty. I love this. Sarah is like, when I think of a transformation of the work that we do, it's like, this is it. Like, it's so beautiful to see that because Sarah, who I met on the very first call, wouldn't have written this. And it's so wonderful to see that. I'm so proud of you. Makes me so happy. I rated myself pretty high because of my mindset just in life that everything feels it will work out. But I'd say the thing keeping myself from being a 10 is how I allow money stressors to make me feel hopeless, stuck, or even unhappy with myself. I love this. I was actually thinking, I feel like money has been coming up quite a lot for people. Just generally, I feel like as a collective. Would you guys be interested in doing a money masterclass? Like something just within the program on money mindset and the energetics around money? Yes. Okay. Making myself a note. Money masterclass. Let's do it. Let's see if this month still or next month, depending on the time. Okay. Wonderful. Let's do that. So then, there is a big attachment to money, and you have to go deeper into what does money represent to you, Stephanie, right now. Because it does create a sense of safety. It does create a sense of there's attachment to it, of like, if I have it, I'm good, all of these things. So I would go back into how can I create that sense of safety? Because I know you're trying to attract it, but the more that you're trying to attract it from the place of lack and it's stressing you, you're pushing it more away. And trust me, I'm speaking from experience. Lots and lots of experience around that, right? So I would love for you to start seeing yourself as a money magnet, that you know how to create it. You've done it before. Go back to, I've done this before. I know how to do this. Okay. I would rate myself a 3. I struggle to find things that bring me true joy or gratitude. Everything is dull, muted. After our one-on today, I'm planning to add things we talked about to lighten my energy. And I think that will help. It's like I need to relearn how to be happy. Yes. So Nicole and I, we had our one-on-one session today, and we talked about how there's different types of energy as you're doing things as well, right? Sometimes we feel that heaviness energy and that lightness energy. And Nicole has been very stuck in like this heaviness energy of like work and like, as much as I love personal development, sometimes it can also feel heavy because it's always this heaviness energy if like we don't bring in the joy of like doing the stuff that also make us happy. And so we talked about like how to bring in lightness energy into her day. And so she's still off of work. And so we made a list of all of the things that create lightness within her. And so every day she's going to be committing to doing one of those things, which is also a great activity just for everyone in general. So we made a list of like, there were yoga, dancing, reading, things like that. And so it doesn't have to be a full day of doing it. But if you can dedicate half an hour to an hour, even 15 minutes in a day to be like, okay, what is one thing today I can do to dedicate to my lightness energy? You will start to feel the shift as well. And then Nicole, we're going to check in with each other as well to see how that rating has changed. I would say about a 7. I've generally been really good at tuning into these emotions freely and still have that inside. I feel like the last year or so has had a big impact on this, and I've been working on removing all the things that have been impacting this. So I'm starting to feel much more frequently in my regular flow again and having them here for more time. I love this. Yes. And I think the job, letting go of the job is a big, big thing here as well. I love that. Done so much work on this, but always need reminders. Yes. I would rate myself at 8. I'm busy, but I'm very happy waking up and look out on my beautiful garden that's currently in all shades of yellow and orange. I love that. I'm grateful for the flexibility work gives, and even traveling, I'm trying to spoil myself with a favorite dish ordered to the hotel room. Overall, there are things that make me happy that I've noticed I don't do, as going to yin yoga, more creative things, decorating, costume creations, playing cello. I want to make space for this, but I also don't want to stress myself out about it. Just as awareness is good enough. I love that. Yes. And I feel like that's a good point that you're making. If it adds more stress because you're like, I have to do this now because it makes me happy, then we have to reframe it and be like, okay, instead of thinking I have to do it for an hour, maybe I can do something for 5 minutes today. Right? It's like and I had this mindset with playing my guitar. I would always think, okay, now if I play my guitar, I have to do it for an hour. And now I'm like, no, I can do it for 5 minutes. And that's then my dedication to myself on that day. Right? Or if I only have 5 minutes to meditate, I don't say I don't have time. I literally do 5 minutes only then, if that is all the time that I have. And that releases the stress as well. Okay, this is great. Anyone else needs any insights of that? Or do you feel like you're solid and you know what to do next? in terms of that, or to give you a good insight of like where you're at and how you can improve it. If don't, put it in the chat. We're going to go to the next point, but I'm happy to refer back to what we just did here, okay? Because there are 5 points, we want to cover them all. The next one is engagement, flow, feeling wholly absorbed in a task. This is where you ask yourself, when do you feel in the zone and what activities fully immerse you? And here as well, like, allow yourself to bring activities back that maybe you haven't done for a while, but you know they do you good. How can you increase moments of engagement in your work, hobbies, or personal life? And this is where you also rate yourself from a 1 to 10. So for example, the second point could be something when it's work, you could say like, oh, I'm gonna do like a deep dive session and I'm gonna allow myself to create whatever I want and, you know, bring in some creativity into my workplace, whatever that might be, or I create a space for myself where I allow myself to flow in the work that I do, whatever that might be. So here, think outside the box as well of how that would help you in your life and in your workplace. I just want to make sure, do the questions make sense? Yes, okay, great. And here as well, whenever you feel ready, put it in the chat. I would say a 7 for flow, as the activities that bring me positive emotions often are also flow activities, working, creative projects, etc. Social media and watching Netflix are barriers for my flow. And this is a good reminder to reduce my social media consumption again and watch less Netflix with my husband. This is great. Great awareness. I love that. Really, really good. And then you can also like find another way to connect with your husband rather than doing Netflix. Like we bought, it's been a while ago, but maybe you guys know, like there you can buy those cards where you ask each other like deep questions and things like that. So we've been loving stuff like that too, where instead of watching Netflix, we're sitting on the couch and like we ask each other those questions, which is really nice as well. Knitting, reading, playing piano, singing, studying used to be one, but it's becoming harder for me to get to the flow state in that area. I think that is because the way my school is organized is not helpful. It's very chaotic, so before I can actually start studying, I have to organize a lot first, so I can think of ways to improve that. Having deep and meaningful conversations, researching topics that interest me. I would rate myself a 9 in that area. Great, wow. Great ratings so far. And great awareness as well. And here as well, and I think Sarah and Lisa already kind of touched on that, is like it's you being truly present in that moment. So while you're in it, you're like in it. You're not thinking of a million other things you have to do. He's often quite tired and Netflix is a way for him to relax, but I stopped watching Netflix earlier than him to read and paint, which is then not a joint activity, but something I need for myself, which is also fine. Like that's where you have your boundaries of like, this is what I need right now. And if this is what he needs, like, that's also okay. Obviously, like I can tell you on a Monday, which is like usually one of the busiest days for me, I'm also not going to sit with him and ask each other questions. Like we're just like, nah, let's do something for ourselves, right? So it is very dependent on the energy of both of us, of course. This one definitely feels sticky for me. I'd rate it about a 4 right now, honestly. Also, big impact from my old job. Hold on, I lost it. Because I was so unengaged there, I was a little stunned for where I fully engaged. Things like when I'm working at the animal sanctuary, dance classes, yoga, gym, hiking, I find it really easy to be present, engaged in physical activities. And definitely the ones where I have to sit down and focus are feeling harder at the moment, or just that I don't know exactly what engages me. This is great. So this is a moment for you for self-discovery, right? Which can also become very exciting of like, where am I truly engaged? And I'm thinking a little bit like one step further. If you feel like you're feeling super in the present moment when you're being active, find a way to like, let's say when you're like thinking of your business and you're creating social media content or program or whatever, in those moments where you're truly present, the best things come through. So you might actually, the more that you're physically active and doing those things, the more relaxed you are, and the more those ideas might even come through because you're allowing yourself to be in the present moment, right? That's just an idea to share. I guess 4 or 5 on this one. It's very connected to how I feel and how rested I am. I can very easily get submerged in something for so, but I sometimes struggle to get into the mode of focus. I let myself be easily distracted by random things and I lose myself on them instead of the things I like to be present in. Also, I'm a huge daydreamer and my mind sometimes just wanders away and I don't even realize that. Great, but you're realizing it by sharing that. So that is great awareness. So whenever you're realizing that you're daydreaming, it's like, oh, I'm doing it again, calling yourself out, which also is actually not a bad thing. Like we actually need to daydream more and allow ourselves to dream. Just also notice where your mind wanders, if it's like more towards like the good or more towards like something that is, in that moment maybe not serving you. So just like noticing that, but by you even saying that means you're already aware that you're doing it. So the next time that you're aware, it's like snapping yourself out of it if you need to in that moment and being like, oh, interesting, I'm doing it again. I've really struggled to be in any flow recently. I rate myself very low here, juggling more things than usually. This October makes it difficult to zoom in and focus on any task. I'm aware what does make me feel in a flow: creative projects, cello, yoga, strategic work, but just haven't had time to dive deep without being distracted. Is there any way in October for you to take out a little bit of time for you to do something, like 20 minutes? Just a 20-minute thing on like a weekend or something. Or not at all. Like I don't even have time to like poop kind of thing. Like let's go there. Is it like that bad? If it is, we need to find a way of like, what are you already doing and how can you incorporate something into what you're already doing? Does it make sense? So there are things that you're already doing, like maybe it's cooking, maybe it's something like brushing your teeth. Can you incorporate something that you're already doing, like, and something into that? You can brush your teeth and do yoga at the same time. That would be a new that would be a new invention. No, but like finding something to make it like, incorporate that. My daughter's on holiday now for a week and my other child, my mom is here. Okay. That's good though, because your mom is here. That means she can take your daughter for 20 minutes where you can be like, hey, mom, I need a moment to myself. Can you take her? Yes. If you guys have any more suggestions, but that might be good to like actually just ask her. Be like, can you take, her for like 20 minutes so I can just be with myself? Maybe. Again, I don't, mothers can, not be easy, but maybe that would be an idea. Or dad. If it's possible, it also depends on the energy. The energy of the other person also needs to be aligned. Right? I'm gonna read out the rest. If you guys have any more ideas, put it in the chat. But I do think having an open conversation with your mom, as she's already there and she could take her for a moment, like also allow yourself to ask for help, Gabi. I know you're very independent, you're a strong woman, and you're like doing a lot, but allow yourself to ask for help. What do we have here? I feel in the zone when I'm connecting about ideas and growth. I also love visualizing conversations with G. I see an opportunity to shift my workshop to less technical sewing and more free-flowing workshops. I've been wanting to shift my classes, do mindful classes in draping, where I lead classes that don't need to end with a finished product, just freedom of expression to creativity. I love that. This is great. Amazing. Two, for me, this is tied to positive emotions. Joy and flow are connected for me. True, definitely is. I wonder how you're gonna feel when you start doing it this week. Yeah. All right. This is my reminder because I know when you and I, we talked about this as well. Be okay with asking for help. You don't need to do it all on your own. You have members in your family, you have friends, you have people that like would come in, even if it's just for a moment. You have the community for other stuff. I can't take care of your daughter, Gabi, but if I could, I would. Right? But like, that's where you train yourself. Like, be okay with asking for help. And sometimes it starts with this community of like reaching out whenever it's too much. Okay. Okay, let's get to the next thing. Relationships. Building and maintaining positive and meaningful connections. Reflect, are your relationships supportive and fulfilling? Are there relationships you need to mend or strengthen? How do you foster connection and care? Allow yourself to rate yourself here from 1 to 10. I think another additional question you can ask as well is like, the relationships that I have right now, are they fulfilling me, or do I feel like I need to see if, maybe I want to take a step back? Because this is also sometimes something that we're not aware of, that some relationships might actually be draining us or not making us feel good at this very moment. This one is higher for me, maybe a 6. I have strong friendships and an overall good marriage and good relationships with my family. I could improve my making more friends where I live. My friends are all elsewhere and strengthen the intimacy between myself and my husband. Great, yes. When you say you could improve making more friends where you live, do you have ideas how that could happen? I have a lot of beautiful relationships in my life, so initially I wanted to rate myself high. However, the past year I'm really struggling to feel like I'm enough or have enough time to truly be there and spend time with all my loved ones. And when I think about who I could let go of or spend even less time with, there's no relationship I want to miss. So instead of communicating that, it sometimes takes ages for me to answer messages. Sometimes I even accidentally have ghosted people in the past, so I would rate myself a 4 here. Interesting reminder to focus on fixing this. Yes, this is great. I would also ask yourself, is it like a nervous system regulation thing? Because when you feel like it takes a lot of energy to answer people, do you feel like maybe your nervous system is very heightened and another thing on your to-do list feels like a lot? And it might be like answering a friend, which again, from experience, I know how that is. When my nervous system was on haywire, like the amount of people I ghosted, I felt really sorry for it. And when I regulated myself, I went back and apologized, but I didn't realize that the effort of replying to a person was literally stressing me out and it was creating more stress in my mind. So that's where you go back to regulating yourself and also being okay with when there's no room, like there's only so much you can also give to people, right? So it goes both ways. A 6 right now, but rising, and previously probably a 4. I love that. My relationship with my husband is improving as I learned to adjust my communication style, and so did he, which strengthens our connection. I have wonderful friends, but most of them live elsewhere, so I'm currently lacking close friends in my new home, which is always a process and okay. I feel connected to my family as well, even if we don't talk daily. I love that. I feel like the friends, like everywhere else, is a very common thing for a lot of people here, including myself. I have the same thing, which is, I think also an energetic thing, because the right people sometimes, are very rare to find, and then we hold on to them even though they live somewhere else. So that's also a nice thing to look at, or reframe that. My relationships are definitely rocky right now. I have very few stable people in my life where the relationships are definitely supportive, but I guess I don't really allow them to be fulfilling because I'm not giving as much as I know I could. Sometimes it is just simply the mirror of what other people are giving me as well. I definitely need to strengthen some of the relationship in my life, but I'm also where I'm not in a mindset of connecting with people on a deeper level right now. It's like I know what I need to do, but I don't feel like it would be reciprocated the way I wanted to. I think this is a great awareness too, Janetta. You're going through a phase right now where you're transforming. And sometimes we also, when we do that, we have to be okay with, or we just, right in that moment, we might not want other people to be interfering with that or interfering with our growth. And I've been through phases like this in my life too, where I was like, this is right now where I need to focus on. And I think that is not a bad thing. And sometimes we can feel like it is. Right. So I think this is great awareness because you're connecting to yourself and transforming and also protecting your own energy based on also what a lot has happened over the last year. Right. So you're rebuilding yourself. And once you've rebuilt yourself and you're connected to who you are and who you want to be, the right people will come into your life. I'd say the relationships I have are very positive and meaningful. However, a lot of them are overseas. There you go. I'm really strong in relationship boundaries with who I have in my life and love that has taken years to get to this point. The area I really struggle with here is finding and fostering new connections. Guys, we're all connected. This is interesting how you guys are all sharing the same things. Because I haven't had a long-term home base since I left Canada in 2019. I found it hard to find humans I deeply vibe with. Currently working on opening up and reaching out to people and making some effort here now. I'm in a long-term home base again, so it's feeling a little better, but I'm also like, where the heck are my people? Yes, the more you grow, the more you see things differently, like the more you are, like, that's what I loved about the retreat that we had, because we're all like, on the same frequency, I want to say, but oftentimes it's hard. It's not easy, but that's where like you stay true to yourself and they will come. And then when they come, it doesn't have to be 100 people. It's 1, 2 people where you're like, this is it, So keep focusing on you and it's going to happen. This one is higher. We already had this one. Hold on, just popped up again. 8.5 is so grateful to all the people in my life I've chose to surround myself with. I really love that the people I keep healthy distance from no longer are the main people I spend time with. I wish I could spend more time with my overseas friends, but I fostered a connection, care through frequent messaging and video chats. Checking with each other on deeper levels has helped my relationship bloom from surface level to deeper connection. I'm loving this, yes. I have a very few stable people in my life where the relationships are definitely supportive, but I guess I don't really allow them to be fulfilling because I'm not giving as much as I know I could. Sometimes it is simply just a mirror of what other people are giving me as well. Okay, we had this one because it keeps popping up. I'm like, is this new? No. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, we already had this. Just one in person best to roll around laughing on the floor with. Yes, they exist. Maybe we just all have to create our own town and move there together. Like, what the hell is this idea? Our own little community in real life. Like, this is actually like people are starting to create it because of exactly this, because people feel this way. Okay, we have two more, right? Yes, two more. We will not get to this one today. Okay, yes, two more. That would be amazing. Guys, like, you can start planning. Let's do that. Buying a villa with your best friends kind of vibes, yes. Or just creating a town and they're like, very strict rules on who can be in that town, kind of thing. Or an island with, lots of vegetables and animals. Okay, meaning serving something bigger than ourselves. Reflect, what goals have you achieved and how did they make you feel? What would you like to accomplish next? And do your accomplishments bring your fulfillment or are they driven by external pressure? How can you set more meaningful personal goals? Here, rate from 1 to 10. As well, I'll give you 2 minutes and then we can reflect on that one. I think it's both. It's like, I know the questions ask achievement, but you can combine those two things because I guess an achievement also leads to a meaning that you've attached to the very achievement itself, right? So even if at work, I know you have a very meaningful work as well, so it can be connected to that too. Even meaning of like you rebuilding your relationship and like fostering a closer relationship with your husband is also meaning, right?
Hey, Jess, I think I'm kind of struggling with this one.
Okay, why are you struggling with that one? What's coming up?
I I'm not I think for like the past like year and a half I've been doing like a lot of like me work. And so it's kind of hard to like pinpoint like what I'm doing outside of myself. Like, is this like serving others?
This is a great question. Um, the way that I like to see changing the world, and this is why I recommended the book to you recently, The Science of Getting Rich. When you become a better human being and you grow, you are able to achieve more in the world and help more people. And by you being who you're meant to be and growing and fulfilling your own dreams, you're not only showing other people how to do it, but by you becoming who you are able to have resources to then create something bigger. So yes, by you growing, you're then able to create something that is meaningful like you're creating art or you're creating classes or whatever that might be, that impacts has a bigger mission to it. But if you don't become this person, sorry, my dog, if you don't become this person, you won't be able to create that. It's going to be harder. Does it make sense? Or not yet? Okay, sorry, my boyfriend is fighting with the dog. I hope you don't hear that.
Can I add to Stephanie's question? Because it reminds me of the question about purpose that we talked about during the retreat. And you said your purpose is inspiring others to be creative and bringing the joy to others. And I feel like that connects to the meaning. Like when I thought about this question, I thought this is, yeah, you have your meaning in your creative work. So I think, yeah, that's at least from the outside perspective, what I see.
Yes, thank you, Sarah, for coming in. Very true. Yeah. I hope that was helpful, Stephanie. Very good brain that you remember that, like so exactly. Good brain, Sarah, good brain. I don't know, memory. I wanted to say memory, but you're getting my point. Okay, what do we have here? I attach meaning a lot to my work. Before my job at the hospital, I was a teacher. I always liked helping people, so I feel like this is what I use most to give my life meaning. Other than that, I struggle to see how else to find meaning in my life. So yes, how can I get more meaningful personal goals? I will reflect on that one. Still an 8 on the rating though. I think this can be a personal goal, what you're doing here, Lisa, as well. It's like you just improving yourself and like showing up, doing this program, that can be a personal goal too, right? And then you can take it even further. But this is already really, really great. And so sometimes it's gonna be seasons of our lives where the job is gonna be at the forefront of like, this is what I'm focusing on. And there's gonna be other seasons where it might be family. There's gonna be others. So it's also okay when we go through different seasons in life, right? And sometimes there's gonna be something else that's gonna have more importance, pretty much. Like compliments on my brain, yes, but that's true though. My achievement this year is definitely finding a way to grow. I know I said it before, but all I wanted for this year was to change my mindset. And before, so hold on, I lost it. Mindset and outgrow the phase I ended up in because I felt like I fell back into patterns and habits that I believed were behind me. And I didn't know how to get out until I reconnected with you in this program. And it felt like something I needed and didn't even knew it. So it is definitely very fulfilling right now. And I want to get more into depth of that. As you said, finding myself again and focusing on myself is a way I've never done before. Still a lot of room for improvement because I struggle in finding fulfillment in the external world. If I were to rate it, then 5. I love this. This is great. And as you're staying on that journey, it's gonna come back. It's like finding back to yourself, what you said. It's relearning, it's unlearning the things that are no longer serving us and finding back to ourselves. Yes, no worry, Gabi, I know. Take care. I hope you can watch the recording. Bye-bye. I'm at a 5 here, maybe. Having a meaningful life, especially serving others, is very important to me. I feel like I do this in small ways, but want to find ways to have a great impact. Yes, it's probably also connected to the work situation that you're in right now, which is great. So this is also where you can ask yourself, what kind of meaning would I like to bring to the world? Like, and then you can also connect it to how would that look like in terms of my job situation or how I would like to work as well. Amazing. I love this. Okay. We have Sarah as well, also 7 to 8. My work, research on dementia overall feels meaningful to me most of the time, especially when I support my students, and I'm looking into volunteering right now to also connect with people with dementia on a personal level. I love that. I also think I inspire people around me through my own self-development, which feels meaningful. Absolutely. This is so beautiful. I'd rate this one a 7. I get strong feelings of meaning, purpose from doing things like volunteering and living in a way that causes the least harm and sharing, taking action for causes that I love. I'd like this to extend into my business and work that I do more on a daily level, which I'm working on. I think I find it a little harder to connect to those feelings when it's not in a giving back type of way, something for me to tune into. Yes, great awareness. Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys are so good at like reflecting on this, and here my biggest ask for you is don't just leave it in this call and be like, okay, like bring whatever you're writing into like your life now. Like this is so good. Like this is really those pointers that you want to bring into the work of what we're doing here. right? So this is really giving you insights into, okay, where am I in a good place and where do I feel like I want to improve? Bring it into your life. Okay, we will go to the last one. Right now, I feel, Sarah, you're still typing, but I want to make sure that we get, I mean, we're already after time, which is fine, but the last one is also really important. And it's connected to a little bit to what we did in the previous one. But that's a good question. What does a 10 feel like? Is there any 10 you've given yourself in any of those? What is your highest number you've given yourself, Sarah? An 8. Are you not allowing yourself to go to a 10 because you feel like it's not achievable? Like, is it more of a mental barrier or is it more of an emotional barrier of like, I just don't feel like it's a 10 yet? That's where I think I would ask myself, like, is it more mental of like a 10 is just, Yes, exactly. Exactly. So this is more of a mental barrier. I think even if you were to say it's a 10, you would feel a huge shift of like, oh my God, it is a 10. And you will feel the embodiment of that even more. But right now, there's still a mental blockage for you to fully allow yourself to immerse yourself in it being a 10. And I think once you do, the embodied version of yourself will come out even more. Yes, let me read through that and then we can go into how is it different from meaning. So accomplishment is achieving goals and a sense of mastery. What gives your life a sense of purpose? How do you contribute to something greater than yourself? Are you pursuing meaning in everyday life? How do you connect with your personal why? So this is where I would rather see it as this part, a sense of mastery. So I always say when you master yourself, you master everything else. So instead of seeing that more as purpose, it's like accomplishment. So Lisa, in your case, it would be your studies. Like you have mastered what you're learning, for example. You have mastered who you are becoming and the job that you're doing. Or you have mastered to, meditate. There are people who like meditate and become a master in meditation, for example. There are people who become a master in a relationship coach. I'm just thinking of Jess right here, right? There are people who become a master in being a mom, right? Like making things up. But this is where I would go more into. It's more actually the achievement rather than the sense of purpose. So this is where you bring it back to the present moment. The meaning is something that you're working towards still, whereas the accomplishment is more right now. Make sense? So the meaning could be in 10 years, you want to have like me, like my own foundation, right? Whereas accomplishment is like, I'm mastering my business myself, like all of this, so that one day I will be able to financially do that one thing. And that would be the meaning. Yeah. I like to look at a 10 like it's as amazing as it can be, and there's always room to make the 10 a bigger 10 rather than giving an 8 and thinking I'm totally fulfilled here, but there's always room for growth to a 10. So a 10 plus, kind of, right? Or a 10 with a star, or a 10 with a heart, whatever you want to like give the 10. Yes, I love that, Jess. That's great. Okay, giving you some time to reflect here. All right, I feel a sense of purpose when we get together with my vegan friends and do some maybe a little bit extreme things for the animals that I can't talk about because I know it is very much greater than myself. But it is something I can only admire in shadows. My everyday pursuit is discovering that I'm able to do so much more than I ever thought. And when I just gave a go to something I would never imagine myself doing, it is actually going pretty good. I feel like the field of study I am in and I'm working in is very important, and I do it for me as well in the hopes of making the world a better place. So maybe a 7. This is amazing. I love this. Incredible. If I see my journey of self-growth, the process of always allowing, enabling myself to become better than yesterday as my goal for life, when I would rate this one high as well. Then I would rate this one high as well. Amazing. I feel accomplished when I master a new piece on the piano, when I get a good grade, when I can do something confidently at work that was hard in the beginning. I feel a sense of mastery when these calls truly feel like I'm doing this for myself rather than another thing on my to-do list. I would rate myself a 7 though, because sometimes I feel like I haven't mastered enough for my age, but I'm working on breaking through those beliefs. Do you know where that belief is coming from, Lisa? Hold on, I don't see. Was it a nod or was it a no? I didn't see you. Yeah, you know, okay. Then we got to work through those beliefs, which I know you are, but that's even a bigger one I would allow myself to look into. Because that might never stop. Like that cycle might always feel like, oh, it's never enough, it's never enough, it's never enough. So if it's not the age, it might be something else. And you know it's not true. That's just a belief. Okay, Sarah, take care. Bye-bye. We're almost at the end. We just have a couple of more people, I think, to share. Jess, Stephanie, Nicole. This is good. Also ask yourself, Nicole, like, where have I been working towards goals without even realizing I was? I think you've been working towards goals all the time, but they were probably just like, oh, because it's just who I am or part of me, right? When I look at how much I've done for animals and the planet, I'm super, super proud. I was speaking on panels and podcasts in Vancouver and doing so much work to help the oceans, and was in such a sense of open flow that so many cool opportunities were coming to me. I found it hard living in such a small town the last 2 years and not having the same kind of opportunity. So I'm excited to be in a city again and see what happens. So similar to the last question, I would like to create more of this in my work and get paid for it. Girl, yes, I love this. You can. I have a friend who is a vegan activist and she's getting paid for it at this point. So yes, I love that. This is great. And not little money. Like actually I was like she's getting like those really great brand deals and things like that as well. So yes, absolutely. Do we have someone who didn't share? I just want to make sure. We had Lisa, Janetta, I think Stephanie, yes, still typing. Because we had some people leave, so I'm just trying to figure out who's still here. Okay, great. So that is also a great awareness. All right. The most important thing is if any judgments come up towards a certain area and you're like, oh, I wish this was a higher number, or I can't believe it's low. Don't make it mean anything. Literally, this exercise is here for you to be like, oh, interesting. Okay, where can I improve myself with? The fact that you're even doing this work, you're further than like most of the people. You're doing something for yourself because you want to be better. Again, this is not about chasing something. It's about you becoming someone that you're meant to be. Okay, this is finding back to yourself, finding back to your purpose, finding back to you, not about something that you're not. Okay, so also as you're doing this work and as you're going back to this, do you feel like sometimes some answers are because you feel like you have to answer it that way, or you've always answered it that way? Or do you not even allowing yourself to give yourself a bigger number because maybe there is a judgment around this as well, right? So you can dissect all of this a lot. Allow yourself to reflect on that this week. We also have to get to know each other call on Wednesday if you can join. It's going to be a great one. But if anything comes up that you feel like I need more clarification on that, I actually noticed this, Amanda and I are here to support you on that one too. Okay, so don't work through it on your own, especially if you feel like there are certain things that are very, very obvious for you that you feel like that would, I would need help on that one. Teaching yourself to reach out for help. Okay? All good? All clear? Just want to make sure to remind you that you have a safe space you can always rely on. Okay? All right, ladies, I'm sending you so much love. Some of you I'm going to see quite a lot this week. Stephanie, I feel like I'm going to see you every day. Which is actually really true. I will. So sending you so much love. Have a wonderful week. Reach out whenever you need something. And hopefully we'll see most of you on the Get to Know Each Other call. Okay? Bye-bye, everyone. Take care. The hearts, yes. Bye, ladies.